24th, 2019 Board of Selectmen's meeting. The board has just come out of a paperwork review. We've also just come out of a non-public session under RSA 91A:3-2A, the dismissal of an employee. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:03 and ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is a review and approval of the consent items. We have the June 10, 2019 meeting minutes. We have a treasurer reconciliation for May. We have purchase order M-10-14 fire engine pump repair in the sum of $17,048.59. We have the Litchfield State Forest tax reimbursement. We have an accounts payable manifest of June 18th of 2019, $108,658.58. June 25th of 2019, $35,247.71. A payroll manifest of June 20th, 2019 of $62,806.39. And June 27th of 2019 and $55,663.56. Are there any items members would like to remove from consent? Hearing none, I'd accept a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the items of consent.
We have a motion by Mr. Lemire.
Second.
Second by Mr. Leary. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All those abstained? Motion carries 5-0-0. Is there any other items members would like to add to business this evening?
Sorry, my computer's talking to me. I've been blue again. I'm sharing it with him.
Hearing none, we'll get to the first item of public input will occur no earlier than 6:15 p.m. The first item of business is ZBA alternate member Mark Faladu.
Close enough.
Okay, term expiring March 31st of 2022. Mark, do you want to come up, state your name and address?
Mark Pilato, 17 Blue Jay Way, Litchfield, New Hampshire.
Welcome.
Have a seat. Sit down, Mark. Have a seat, man. It's not electrocuted.
Mr. Brown.
Okay, well, Mark is here this evening. He's been recommended. He's met with the Zoning Board of Adjustment, and they're recommending to the Board of Selectmen that you appoint him as a alternate member on ZBA. And typically, when a citizen's appointed to serve on a board or a committee for the first time, the board conducts a question and answer period, just sort of a meet and greet. So.
Okay, could you give us a little background information?
Well, I've been in town for 20 years. I feel like I want to give back a little bit. I've been an electrical contractor in town for 20 years, and I feel my electrical experience is probably beneficial to the board.
Well, thank you for your willing to serve. Anybody have any questions?
Why?
I don't know. I'm still asking
I've been
myself.
on that board. Appreciate it, Mark. I really do. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if there's no further questions, I'll make a motion that the board approve Mark Pilato for
Pilato.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Term expiring 3/31/22 for ZBA alternate member.
We have a motion by Mr. Lemire.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schaefer. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstained? Motion carries 5-0-0. Thanks, Mark. Greatly
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Welcome.
Have a great evening.
You too. Take
Thank you,
care.
Mark.
Appreciate it, Mark. I really do.
Thank you.
Nice hats. He's got a collection of hats in his garage.
The next item we have is the public hearing for the Emergency Management Performance Grant of $40,000. Mr. Brown.
All right, so we've this is a grant that's in the amount of $40,000. That's cash. The town leveraged the grant with an additional $40,000 of in-kind matching grant match, which was basically the new space that we created under the construction of the station. So all of the new space that's going to be utilized for the Emergency Management Operations Center we were able to leverage that new space to obtain this match, $40,000. So Chief Raitzel and his department did a fantastic job putting together the grant application. The grant specifically for furniture, fixtures, computers, phone systems, anything to do with the setup of the Emergency Operations Center. So once this grant, the funds are expended, you're going to have really a state-of-the-art facility there that when we have some type of weather event, some type of emergency situation, we're going to be able to go over to the fire station and have all the tools that are needed to help manage the town through that crisis. And again, there's no cost here to the town. We were able to get the match from the new construction of the building.
That's fantastic.
So we do have to open this. This has been advertised in the newspaper. It's been on our website. Due to the amount of the grant and the $40,000, this is the state law requirement. At this point in time, you'll need to open the public hearing up for input. Once the input period is done, close it. If you have any additional questions, ask me and vote to accept.
Okay. Is there any members from the public that would like to comment on the public hearing for the acceptance of the grant funds?
I would like to know, it was that fellow that you just chose for road agent, is he certified?
No, he was for the ZBA,
Zoning board.
zoning board. He was somebody coming before.
But
the
he's
zoning board.
certified to be a road agent?
No.
No, no,
Zoning board. Zoning board.
Zoning board, Pat, zoning board.
Zoning board. Seeing we have no public input concerning the public hearing, we will close it.
I have a question. You mentioned $40,000 grant in matching, and that's coming out of what line?
So it's called in kind. So we were able to demonstrate that the citizens paid for the construction of the new fire
I
station,
understand that.
and a
Yeah.
certain square footage is dedicated to emergency management operations.
Okay.
And that can be actually used as a match to leverage the $40,000.
Offset the cost.
So there are no
Leverage,
physical
you're saying.
dollars.
It's off, okay, that's all I know. Because you said it, and,
I said it a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
That's a good thing.
Do we have any further discussion? If not, we can accept the motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry,
Second.
second by Mr. Schaefer. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All those abstained? Motion carries 5-0-0. Troy, please thank the chief for us, for his efforts. Next item on the business is the earned time policy notice requirement. Mr. Brown.
Okay, so this was actually prompted by the recent resignation of an employee that did not give a 2-week notice. And when I turned and looked at our personnel policy to see if there was any on how we'd handle, any resignation with less than a 2 weeks notice, there's nothing in our policy that provides. I mean, really, there's no law. There's no way the town can adopt a policy that require more than 2 weeks. But what I did find is in our union contract, which really makes a lot of sense, is an incentive for employees to give at least a 2 weeks notice, at least in the union contract. If an employee gives notice less than 2 weeks, then when they cash out their earned time, it's paid out at 50%, not 100%.
Okay.
So it's sort of an incentive there that, hey, if you give a 2 weeks notice, we'll pay you 100% of all the earned time you have on the books. If you choose not to do that, then your payout's going to be 50%, half the value. We don't have that policy for our non-union employees. And I highly recommend that we consider adopting a policy. It's exactly the way the union contract's written. So I'm only bringing this forward this evening as discussion.
Okay.
If the board seems to think it makes sense, then I would bring it back to the next meeting for approval.
Members, what do you think?
I disagree.
If it's earned time, I don't know how we could possibly take it away from somebody without having to go before the labor board. If it's earned, the employee's earned it. To me.
Excuse me, there's no public input right now?
I don't
Thank
think
you.
I don't think it's possible to take something that somebody's earned away. I mean, I don't know.
I can say this, what happened to me when I turned, I like to retire. I came a month, 2 months, weeks, whatever. Next day, I got all my checks and said goodbye. So I really think it's a non-issue. It's more of a personnel problem.
It's not a
It's
problem.
personalities.
There's in personnel management, it's, you know, there are times when it's actually highly recommended that anytime you have an employee provide notice that they're leaving, that it's in the best interest of the employer to sever that relationship as fast as possible. Just
What have we
because of-
done?
And in doing that, that doesn't take away the employee's right to be paid out everything they're entitled to.
Then what's the
But one of
problem?
the things for earn time, a lot of people think that earn time is required by law. It's an optional benefit that the town of Litchfield offers its employees. It's not required by law. Department of Labor does not even talk about earn time.
So why is this?
It limits the number of hours that you can work per day without a break period, restrictive per age. So I've seen many policies that are written that even that if you only worked for the town for less than 5 years, you may only be eligible to cash out your earn time at 25%. And this is a tool that they use to encourage employees to stay. So if you work for 10, 12 years, you could cash out at 50%. And then, the more years you serve, eventually you get up to 100% value of the earned time. But if that's a concern, then I definitely can get a legal opinion on it before you take action. I can tell you right now that when employees give no notice, it's really disruptive, and it's just not fair on everyone. Not fair on the employee. It's not fair on the department. It's not fair on the elected officials and the community. All it does is create chaos.
It sure does, but it creates chaos when the employer says goodbye. He created it. Okay, I can say that I can say that I offered my time, but I get the checks and have somebody walk me out the door. Same happened to the last person we had. Okay, why are we even talking about it? It's created by staff prior to. We need to focus to change there to make this work. We never had these problems before. Never. Okay? I'm just trying to figure out how we can settle things down and make things work better from here on. I'm out of the picture, but I'm just telling you that's what happened to I. And that's what happened to the past person. Okay? You create your own war.
I'm not creating war. I'm just proposing. This is a selectmen's policy.
Exactly what it is.
So you got to think that the board, if this is your business
That's correct.
and you were running your business, what would you want your employees to do? If they knew they were going to be leaving, would you want them to give a 2 weeks notice?
I offered, and
You
so
can't force that. But what you can do is take a look at the benefits you offer and say, if you don't provide me with at least the 2 weeks notice, you're not going to be eligible for all of these benefits at a certain rate. I'm just bringing this up here. Otherwise, people can give
Thank you.
notice. In my employment contract, it seems to be very important that I think I'm required to give more than 2 weeks, and I think it's 2 months.
That was
So-
negotiated between the past boards.
So Troy,
But it
why
seems
don't
to
we
be
just-
that was an important policy for the board.
Can I move that we table this for a future? I don't know that we're ready for this, and I understand where you're coming from, and I think I would like to review the union contract language and how we got there. But at this point, I'd like to move to table the discussion.
Motion by Mr. Lemire to table,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Schaefer. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I do.
All abstained?
I would have a problem taking something away that somebody's earned. I just-
That's my
We're
point.
just
Oh,
tabling
yeah,
the
no, we're
discussion.
tabling
We're
this
just tabling the
for,
discussion.
Okay.
for now.
So.
Yep.
You're in favor?
I'm
Tabling?
I'm saying no. You guys outvoted me, fine.
Bob, where are you?
I vote to table it for now.
Okay?
Motion passes 4-1-0.
It's about procedure. It's not about the people.
Seeing that it's 6:19, we will open up for public input. Are there any members of the public who'd like to come forward?
Before we start, I'd like to know where the two men were last week. That was Selectmen. It was a regular scheduled meeting and somebody said, gee, I don't know. One of them had to work and the other one's on vacation. But you know what? Somebody went down by one of the houses and they saw that person sitting down. Now, if you're really a dedicated selectman, you would be to every meeting if you could possibly be there. I was very disappointed because I know the water's hot for you people. But you know what? You have to take the hot with the cold.
Unless somebody drove by my house after 8:30, I was coaching my son's playoff game for Little League. I've made a commitment to that team as well, and I feel like being a coach is also as much of a commitment as being here. I had a choice, and unfortunately, based on what you're saying, I chose baseball. But I also feel that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and these men can handle running the town for one night. So that's where I was coaching baseball.
But there weren't, there were only three there without you and Brent. Brent, where were you? You have an answer?
I will give you the answer, Pat, as a courtesy. I was on vacation.
I'm sorry, what?
I was on vacation, Pat.
You were?
Yes.
How come you didn't come?
Pat, that's not, this is not appropriate. This is comment. If you would like to comment as to why, but I shouldn't have to answer.
If you're really a dedicated selectman, you would be there during your vacation.
I've been dedicated since 2011, Pat. And I'll stand by my record. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to come forth with input?
Okay, same thing, Joe Cabral, Brickyard Drive. This is not into with the Pat thing. Tracy had asked for an RSA 91A about his time thing. Evidently, there was an amount of paper used that he thinks that we should pay for. Okay? My thing to you is, and you know it, all the RSA 91As I pulled out of you last year was a hell of a lot more than that paper that you gave her. Okay? We pay for your pencil, paper, as a taxpayer. Why do you want a taxpayer to pay you back for paper?
Mr. Cabral, please.
No,
watch it
that's,
forward.
that's what I'm asking.
I guess I'm not sure what you're speaking to about
Okay,
paper.
what it was, because of evidently the amount of 6 months of pay thing that Tracy requested,
Mhm.
he's saying that the amount that spit out of the computer, out of the printer, that Tracy should pay an X amount for that paper. I'm saying, don't even go there with you. I'm totally will kill you right now.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Yeah,
Joe,
I'm not getting good with you.
Okay.
If we
Okay,
continue down this
We've
path,
been
I'm
able
going to
to
close
cancel
public input.
input.
so anyway,
That's
you
a
got
threat,
no right.
Joe.
He's the one that got the board.
Mhm.
All I'm saying is he should not charge. Now, nobody should be charged that amount, no matter what. Because I'm saying, I did it last year. There was a ton of them I asked for, and he can vouch for that, and he knows it. I got a pile like that. Did I ever?
I will look into how
Okay.
much we're allowed per RSA, and I'll get back to you.
Okay,
Okay.
because I don't think any town, because we're paying your taxes and
Mhm.
we're paying your thing, and that's all I'm saying to that.
I'll investigate and get back to you if we have a policy about so much per right to know that we'll give out. How many
Okay.
pieces of paper and so
But I'm
forth.
telling you right now, you ain't gonna get a penny from her,
Okay, that's fine.
okay? You won't get a penny.
Thank you for your input. Is there any other members who would like to come forward?
somebody behind me, raise their hand.
I don't see anyone behind you.
You okay? Yeah, I can do it. Sure, can do it now.
She's got it. She's got it.
She always.
She's got enough help out there.
You know, I know how, Kevin and Jack felt, because once I lost the selectmen, I was devastated. And I'm sure you people have been on boards or maybe business town administrators and all, your contracts weren't rehired. Well, that's the same setup. It's a horrible feeling. You're really defeated. And I think, boy, I don't know. I know I can see how they all felt. I know I would. Okay. Can you tell me about the new man? Is he going to be willing to pick up dead animals along the road? Is that in his job description? If it isn't, you better make darn sure it is, because Jack did it. Do you know, Troy? What do you mean you don't know?
The highway, yeah, I mean, that's what the highway, they pick up dead animals. They
Well, what if somebody goes to the dump and
do
they
you
drop
think that
out?
highway formers, that's a very typical work that highway departments do. It's not just
So
Litchfield.
they're expected to pick them up,
Mhm.
dead animals. And bags of trash that people accidentally drop off their car, or they blow off, and they can't, you don't stop to pick it up. Maybe they don't even realize it's fallen.
Yeah, the highway department picks up bags of trash
He would pick
in our
that up.
parks, along our sidewalk system, when they do community cleanups.
Is he going to be mowing the lawn at the old fire station, the Historical Society, and so forth, at Albuquerque?
He's gonna do everything that the prior road agent did.
You're going to put that in writing? Because I think that some of the things weren't in writing, and maybe Jack did them. Like, another thing is pushing a brush down at the landfill. I mean, it's all the town, I realize that, but I mean, he has to take his time to go and push that brush back. I mean, he liked Dave, not that there was anything against him, but I mean, that's just another thing. So I think you better have every picky, uni thing in, because I think that people will be really looking. Got any ideas? Any more ideas of things we're gonna put in it? I heard he has a degree in business. What does that qualify him to be road agent?
You're talking about an individual.
Yeah, we cannot speak about an individual. We can speak about a department, but not an
Okay,
individual
well,
employee. please.
How, if I was applying for road agent, would you apply and let me go? I'm as qualified, have a master's degree and all. And that's as much sense as it makes. Business degree is a heck of a lot different than running a town road agent. It's expensive and it's hard. And I don't think you people realize it. I wish that you could have done some of those things, each one of you, and it would have showed you that it's not an easy job. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That, you know that. Selectmen are the same way. And Steve, I have to give you credit for how you acted the other night. You did a real good job. And I was going to say that after, but I didn't see you. But I don't think anybody else could have done any better job. I don't think I could have, I know. Okay.
Pat, don't do this.
What's happening to the lawnmower? I heard that he had a new lawnmower last year. What's wrong with that? I heard he wanted to buy another one.
The lawnmower will be on an item of business coming up. We do have a lawnmower that is failing right now. So
It's
we,
working.
no, it's not. The gearbox is leaking oil. And we don't know how much longer it's going to last. So that would be an item that's coming up on as an item.
Couldn't
of
that be
business.
repaired instead of buying a new one?
We're looking at several different things, and we have a proposal this evening that the board will be addressing.
Okay. I wasn't here, of course, and there were most of the audience when you voted, but how could you have voted on December 18th, I think it was, or something? When, did you vote by email, the 3 people that voted yes, or did you vote at a public meeting like this?
What item are we speaking of?
I'm sorry, what?
What item are we speaking about? What vote are you
On
referring
your,
to?
to discharged Jack.
It was him.
There was no
How did you
vote.
get that vote?
Which vote are we speaking?
The vote to
We had
have
no public vote
him
to,
resign or he'd be left out, pushed?
we had no vote in public about any of our employees.
And that's.
Yeah, it's a personnel issue, so it falls under the non-public RSA.
But can you do it legally with just 3 people? And how come?
I do not remember the evening, but I believe we had all 5 members that evening.
The night that you did that, you
It
had
was a
all,
non-public session. We'd have to go back and see who was in attendance that evening. But I don't think there was only 3 individuals. But we can go back and look at that.
Put that on the list.
somebody thought maybe you just use email for you 3 people.
Nope, we do not conduct business via email.
Why did you change your meetings from every week to twice a month?
I do not know. It was before my time.
Yeah.
It's been for a long
It's a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
What?
This has been a long
It's
time.
been a long time. It's only been twice.
Wasn't when I was here.
Well, no. but-
That was a long time ago.
So, I mean,
Why did you? You must know you voted for it.
Absolutely, I voted for it,
Why
because
did
we
you
have a
vote?
town administrator now, Pat. And there was no need for us to meet every week.
You don't feel that you serve your people, the people that voted for you better if you met once a week?
No,
I notice many of the meetings are cut and dry, half hour, 40 minutes maybe. I don't know how you can do it and do a good job, because you really need to be available for the people, and you need to make people feel you're glad they come. I'm sure you're not gonna say, well, I'm glad that Pat came. Oh, I don't care, but that's okay.
It's always good to see you, Pat.
Oh, yeah, maybe you are, but I can think of several that wouldn't like him. It's me, notes, I can't remember what it is.
Your writing's too small, Pat.
Who looked Pat, just retired.
So you got the school teacher.
I heard you're thinking about buying a new truck, is that right?
a new truck for,
Road agent. So there are no new trucks coming in this year's money that you got, is that right? Troy should know.
I haven't seen
I-
it.
I haven't.
No.
In this current budget that we've approved,
Yeah, the budgets have been passed and all, so out of that budget, what can you buy with that budget? Can you buy a lot of new tools and all? What?
we can buy some new tools, and we can buy, one of the problems that we have is that we had to create a full-time position back the first of the year. That position, along with the benefits, were not funded. But due to the fact that we had a shortage of contractors plowing snow, we just didn't have the staff, we made a decision to hire a full-time employee. So
So do you have money in the budget for that?
we're managing the budget, and we feel very confident that we're going to cover the cost of that
So do
position.
they know how many of those selectmen, not selectmen, I'm sorry, plowmen are coming back this year?
We do not have contracts in place yet. A lot of just verbal discussions right now.
I wouldn't take verbal, boy, I wouldn't take verbal for anything from now
No, we're
on.
not going to take verbal. I'm just saying that we're having rapport with the contractors that plowed for us last year.
Because I think that you might see some changes, maybe some of them might not wanna come. There is that thought, and if they don't wanna come, you're gonna have to get more.
Yeah.
And snow comes early, like last year, November 4th, we had a first snow, you remember? I was surprised.
We're gonna make sure our trucks are all inspected and already repaired, everything ready to go before we get into the snow season.
So that budget that you approved we approved in March, has to last until June 30th before you can start using that new budget, right? You understand that?
No.
In other words, you can't use the budget.
Yes, we can, Pat.
How can you use it if it hasn't gone into
Because remember,
July 1st, isn't it?
no, we're not on a fiscal year. We're still on a calendar year, Pat.
Calendar year.
So
Okay.
we deficit spend until town meeting, and then it approves
I'm
to
getting
December
so
31st.
mixed up with the town.
That's the old way.
That's good or bad.
Still in the old way, Pat.
I was on both, so I have to be careful. I don't know, but you know, I had gotten 11 phone calls from people that were amazed at this, and they happened to see it on TV. I got one person that said, well, you know, there's two sides to it, Pat, what? So I would like to know what the other side of the story is.
We can't speak to it. It's a personnel issue. Until there's a waiver saying we can discuss it, we can't.
So everything is a personality.
When it comes down to an employee, it is. I mean, it's just like if somebody worked in the private sector, they want to want their personnel records spoken about.
You're not unionized yet, I hope.
You know,
I want to know. About time to get that in, I guess, right? So do you think this fellow will be willing to push over the brush at the incinerator for Dave and pick up the bags of trash that fall off the car? Because many times I would see a bag if I was going to church and it hadn't been, you know, Saturday it was dropped off, and I'd pick it up on Sunday morning and take it home and then put it with my trash that has to be paid, be picked up.
Can I say something to that, Pat? What you're asking there is not a personnel issue.
Say that again?
That is not a personnel issue. You're asking us to make sure he can do what the last gentleman did. And that's the brush, the trash, going around town. That's not a personnel issue. That's just something we just gotta get clear.
standard function of a
Correct,
hire.
correct.
I want to make sure it's
Yeah.
included in
Yep.
his.
I concur with your thinking there.
Okay. Maybe I got more, but I can't even read it, so excited. Don't laugh, it's not funny. But anyway, you gotta say, I don't give up easy.
No, you don't.
Many times when I was a selectman, it would be 4-1, and I'd be the one saying no. You know, my philosophy is, want not,
Have-
need, what is that, want
Have
not?
not, want.
What is that?
Have not, want not?
Not want, yeah. No, I never waste that
Waste
stuff.
not
Okay.
That's what it is. Waste not, want.
Waste not.
Waste not, want not, that's it.
There we go.
Appreciate the correction.
Maybe I could hire you to give comic jokes, right?
Just right behind you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I can think of now, but I might
I
think of
gotta
some
give her a
more.
ride home.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to provide input?
I'm hearing, we're gonna post outside for a road agent? It sounds like we're just gonna take the guy that we just hired,
It's in front of the board. It's an item we're going to be discussing this evening.
so we're not gonna really try to go outside to try even.
As a board, we haven't decided what we're doing with the function yet. If we're separating job positions or anything, we still have a lot of discussion with the board. In the interim, we need to keep the highway department running.
Yeah, I know
So
that.
we need to make some actions in order to keep it running, and then the board is going to discuss what we're going to do moving forward.
Okay, because it just seems like he just got in there and I don't think he's got the qualifications to run it.
He's just interim. We'll be
He is
voting on
interim?
whether or not to make him interim. Doesn't guarantee him the job.
Correct.
Okay,
Full-time.
that's,
Okay.
So
that's
we
what,
still have to spend some time looking at jobs and
You-
so forth. So
He hit it on the head.
he answered.
Doesn't
That's,
guarantee him.
that's right.
Yep.
So if
just
it
enough so
doesn't,
we can keep the whole highway department running, keep the
right,
town
so if
running.
it doesn't work out, we will
Of course.
search out.
Yep.
Okay.
While the search is going on.
Evening.
This-
Intention is speaking tonight, but hearing Pat's eloquent comments and trying to read her printing.
Name and address, please, because our minute taker is remote.
Some people might not know you.
Yeah, there's a couple of Massachusetts people don't know me. I've been in town for 50 years. My name is Thomas Levesque. I used to serve on the board with Pat,
I know.
and I get an extra medal for that.
Yep.
You know, Mike,
Combat thing.
the question is, I kept hearing what I think everybody else heard, and it sounded like it was a bag job. You already gave it to somebody. Not Jack's job, but I think whatever you do, I hope you advertise for the best possible qualifications. And, just don't jump into, throw somebody in this position just because.
Correct. That's
As
what we will
As a
do.
taxpayer, and Jack Shoe's gonna be hard to fill, in my opinion. That guy's done a hell of a lot, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, he was on call. They need him for a barricade for an accident, barricade for a fire, a tree down, a wire down. He was there. And I hope whoever it is, definitely time to really consider residency requirements to make sure they live in town so they can respond. And I guess that's all I had, but I just hope that it's a well-searched job, not just a bag job.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Are there any other members that would like to speak?
While we're waiting for him, I would just like to say thank you to everyone who comes up here and does speak, because you read a lot of stuff, if you happen to read like the Hudson Litchfield News and the thumbs up, thumbs down, where they take blind pot shots at people. You guys have the courage to come up here and speak, and kudos to you for doing that.
Here, here.
Thank you. Thank you.
John Latcher, 10 McHale Lane Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire. I'd like to talk about. I lost my voice earlier today. I don't know why. John Latcher, 10 McHale Lane Drive, Litchfield, New Hampshire. Everybody hear me? Okay, great. Good evening. I'd like to talk about a totally different subject, so you can all sit back and relax. Just kidding. I'd like to talk about Litchfield Community Television. Litchfield Community Television has come a long way since way back when I moved into town. I remember the slides going by 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
And they would be talking about a Christmas event, but it would be June at the time. So, and
We're preparing for winter.
one of the reasons what
16.
one of the reasons why Litchfield Community Television has excelled is, I believe, is because of the past selectmen. I like to give credit to Frank Byron, John Brunel, Selectman Bork, Selectman Perry, and Brent Lemire for allowing us, for giving us the funds and releasing the funds to us for new cameras and a green screen, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if any of you have been there recently, but it's definitely come a long way. So that's a good thing. The reason why I came here tonight is I already talked to some members of the cable committee, and they wanted me to come down and talk about it. But I was wondering, as you know, the facility doesn't have any restrooms. I had the police chief on, I interviewed him for an interview, and unfortunately, I had to ask him if he to go to the restroom before he came down there. So obviously, you guys know when you have a guest on the show, people get nervous and people want to go to the bathroom, obviously. I heard a meeting I believe it was a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago. And I just wanted to make sure that some of the selectmen, that I was clear with this with them, is that some of the selectmen said that LCTV has the keys to the old fire station if they needed it to go to the restroom. But that isn't the case. We don't have any keys at all. Now that the facility is basically empty, I was just wondering if it would be possible to maybe give a key to the staff at LCTV. So if somebody does have to go to the restroom, they can just accompany them over there and they can go and then, lock the door and come back or whatever. So wouldn't be I don't think it'd be a real hang up, but I mean,
It's all still functional.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why we won't be able to do something like that.
Troy?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to the fire chief and make sure. But right now, as I understand, the building is fully operational.
Okay.
Nothing's been turned off.
Okay.
No
Right.
electric's on, water's on, everything.
Because that would make sense.
The mechanicals,
Yeah, I think so.
the
But
mechanics are still
the,
going.
What's that?
The mechanics are still going in the building.
restrooms upstairs.
We cannot shut the
There's-
water off in the building. We got to heat it because of the.
right. There's a restroom upstairs and one downstairs.
There is one
There's
downstairs.
one downstairs. So
So if you could ask the fire chief, Troy, that'd be great.
You got the pods for those, the old pods.
Just give them access to a restroom.
You got the old
there's
pods.
a few
you can use
people
those.
that do shows on there, and they kind of chuckle when they say we haven't got a restroom. So I have to cut the show off because I have to go to the restroom. So it's a little funny. So it's okay. But
I have this
in
camper-
another way, it's embarrassing a little bit because I invited the people that were running for school board and et cetera, to come down to the studio. And unfortunately, I had to tell them that, we don't have a restroom down there. So it's kind of a a touchy situation, as you guys know. So I appreciate that. If you guys would do that, that would be great. As far as, I just want to be one more second. As far as the old fire station is concerned, Litchfield Community Television that's actually a benefit for Litchfield Community Television. I mean, if somebody wanted to do a cooking show upstairs where they have the kitchen and everything, you set up the cameras and bring the cameras back to the studio after the recording has been completed. You also have where they used to have the couch and the TV area. That could be actually another studio setting over there, because right now we just have one with a green screen. So there are opportunities, and I know that people passed a warrant article to keep the building. So I think that if you ask the people that built the old fire station at the time when they were building it and they completed it, and you said to them, hey, would you like to use if they ever leave this building, would you like them to use it for a shed, or would you like to have them use it by the community? And I think that they would like to have it used by the community. So there are opportunities there. So, and I thank you all for your time. And once again, Brent and Selectman Perry, Selectman Bork, Mr. Brunel, and Frank Byron, thank you so much for what you've done for LCTV. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
John, have a good evening.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Take care, John.
All right.
Stay out of trouble.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to provide input? Hearing none, we'll close public input at 6:45.
Can I ask a question? About open house, I didn't even know the fire department had an open house. Now, if you're going to have an open house, you certainly should advertise. I looked again in the Hudson Litchfield News, and I watched television. I didn't see it on television, but I don't watch all the time.
I know it was advertised. Troy, do you know how the chief advertised?
I believe he advertised it in the Hudson Litchfield News.
No, you didn't.
It was not advertised anywhere that the
I
general
looked
public-
through 3 papers the last 3 weeks to find it. There wasn't a thing about it. Now,
It was
that's
on
not
our
good.
bulletin
Talk
board,
about
is on our,
communication.
got posted on our website, Facebook.
Board website, social media.
You're still a group that doesn't go on social media. You're still the group that doesn't. I'm the first one to admit, I saw that he changed the date. I forgot to tell my own wife, okay, because I could not go that night, okay?
I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, see, I'm a dead man walking, see? But and if it's posted on the board out front, not everybody takes Albuquerque. I think the newspaper, for people all in all, the Hudson Litchfield News is a good source still. I know it's okay for the senior group, okay? Like me.
Okay.
As you see me, I was trouble
How many
trying to
were
run
there?
this thing tonight.
Do you have any idea?
There was probably 40 to 50 people.
Oh my, that's not much.
What,
I think.
Yeah, 400,000.
Outside, so it was hard to see.
There was probably 40 on the hose.
Right.
Well, yeah, if you look at the members, but I'm just saying public members.
Public as well, yeah.
If I had known, I would have crawled up here. I would have, seriously, because I think it's important to back people up when they put on something like that. For a $375,000 building, that's almost triple what we paid for this town hall and police station and all. Plus there's a lot, so I agree. But even so, I think people would love to see it. If you only had 40 and there's practically 9,000 people, well, that's not a very good showing.
It's open to the public.
It's open to the public, yes.
Steve, I know you've already closed public, but just to interject what Pat said, I, as a former chief, was very offended. Another fire chief I spoke to was greatly offended. We were never notified, and we did never see anything in the general newspapers about. I thought that was about as cheap a shot as the chief and the town of Litchfield could pay to the former fire chiefs. It can't get much lower than that.
Okay. All right, we'll talk to the chief.
He's a hypocrite.
Okay, the next item of business, we have selectmen reading.
I know you closed it, but I knew there was one more thing. What was Tracy?
Do we vote? No.
It's just a real quick one.
We didn't vote.
This was on, you know how we asked to have the fire log posted?
Yes.
We got 1 month of it. We haven't had any since.
I know for a fact the last one was sent on June 5th to the Hudson Litchfield News. If they put it in or not, I don't know, but I know the email went because I get copied on the email.
Okay. Because
So,
that's all I'm saying.
Since you asked, we've done it monthly. because of the way they have to gather the information, but every month we have been sending it to the HLN.
That's all it was.
Okay.
Do they gather it any differently than the police department does?
They have a different
They have a
system.
Do they?
different
Okay.
system,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a different.
It's more
reporting
manual
system.
process to go do it, so we've been able to do it in a month at a whack.
Okay.
So the next item on the business is Selectmen's meeting start time. Mr. Brown.
Mr.
Not sure what you want me to do. This
Well,
is,
if you want to lead into it, because I
yeah,
know it
okay.
came from.
No, this was a discussion at your last meeting where a
Yep.
couple of selectmen had mentioned that they'd like to have it, our meeting start at 7 opposed to 6. And so we had agreed to put this back on the agenda for this evening to discuss.
Okay.
I was the one that brought it forward because a lot of us work out of town a lot. Like today, I was in Kittery and I had to hustle back to get here. Cut my day a little short, but that's okay because it's worth it. But if we're at 7 o'clock, it would make it a lot easier on, I know you're out of town a lot, Brent's out of town. Kurt, you get out of town too, right? Might be easier for us if we started at 7.
I myself was out of town doing the job that I got now
Yeah.
by 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to meet with folks, and I'm looking at how much time we actually spend here on the meetings, 2 hours at the most. Okay, unless it's going to be the budget season, then we may go to once a week because we got so much more work to do. But until you're elected, okay? My nephew. Okay. I think it's wise that we do. Because there's other things. There's not just us that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of people who work out of state, out of town. And I know there's people that I have to meet, they don't get home till 6 o'clock at night. Okay? And they are in town. Because their travel time from the lower 48, I'll say that, is longer. Okay? And it's harder for them to go. Instead of coming home and just running up here, they like to come home, see the kids, their family, get something to eat, then come up here. That's the normal process. Earlier start is only for the staff in a way, but it shouldn't be like that. Okay? Troy can go home, come back, like everybody else does, I'm just saying it that way. That's how I feel about it.
Ron, can you give us the history? Because you've been here the longest, and at one time, way back when, I guess it was a 7.
We did start at 7, and the reason that it went back to 6 is when we got into after July, we started with budgets and go through the fall. Actually, the committee people and the people that were serving on the committees asked us, because the meetings would be late, asked us if they could start earlier so that we could deliberate, without having them go into, a lengthy late meeting so that they wouldn't have, because they had to get up for work the next morning. I personally don't have an issue either way, but I know that when that was a request of us at the time, and there were some residents actually said that, since it was handy when they would come in to register their car, and the town clerk was open till 6, and then they would just, come in and attend the meeting because it started at 6. So we listened to that and changed it back to 6, and it was working. But I understand your situation. So I really,
You brought up
I don't know.
you brought up a good point, Brent. The committees, they have to come in, whatever. I know when I was here, we had the budget process. We all had to go to these meetings all over the place in time. And the same with every other staff member. And with Jason came on board, it didn't change right away, but it changed during that time period.
Mm.
And my point to this, okay, right now, I think when you get into the budget process, meeting every 2 weeks as a board here before we get it to bring it down to Bobby, bring it to the other end of the table, to the budget committee. Okay. I think we got to work harder to get the budgets going. So we have to meet more than once a week. I mean, twice every week during a certain phase of the budget process. We may be able to cut back at a later phase, but when you start working on the numbers, but on the other half of that, if we start at 7, and we're not in the budget process, we're out of here by 8:39 still. Okay?
I don't.
You know what
have
I'm
an
saying?
issue with that,
Yeah,
Kev.
yeah.
I really
I've done
don't.
the phase. I know most towns that I've worked for, it's 7:00, and I had to stay there at night, and like I was in Milford or in London or Londonderry, I had to stay there to be heard that night in front of the board because they said it, and the administrators followed the board, not the administrator telling the board, and that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Right, and that's why we changed
Yeah.
here to allow staff to come in from work. They were waiting and then they could get out earlier, and the boards and committees coming in to meet with us could go home earlier so they could prepare for the next day. So we were sensitive to that, that's all. And that's the
There's
history.
a lot of it boils down to the schedule between the budget committee and the board on that timing, because they meet during that crash time, the budget every week, correct?
From the end of September through December, they meet
Every week.
every week.
I think it's wise because then the staff who has to bring in the budgets can get it in for us in a timely manner for them
Well,
as
see,
well.
that's why we start in
Yeah.
August
Yeah.
with the staff, and
That's
we
right.
go through the end of September.
And that's great.
And then,
Right.
then we're done with the staff. So,
I mean, the good thing is we only do it twice a month right now. We meet twice a month.
Right.
So, I mean, it's being kind of shown that, it really disrupts our personal schedule, but it's only twice a month. And I'm for 6:00. I like to get home early. I'm not a night owl. I'm in bed by usually 8:30, 9:00. So to push this meeting
Till now.
later, yeah, really, personally, it's going to just screw up my sleep schedule. But I mean, that's my opinion. You want an opinion? That's my opinion. I mean,
Thank you.
it is,
Okay. I think we just got to, I personally, 7:00, and we start looking at the schedule and what's going to be on it. I'm looking at the schedule today, some of the stuff we got here. I have questions and little things, okay? That maybe we got to look at differently. Okay? But really, that's how I feel about it. I think the 7:00 is the wise. Let's bring it back and let's work it together. And then if we have to go once a week in the busy crunch time, that's what we're elected to do. That's how we feel about it. Okay? We may have to do once a week to get things ready fast enough.
Do we go for a happy medium and split the difference?
Or I was thinking maybe during
6:30?
budget season, if.
Well, we want to try to be set so the public knows exactly
Yeah.
what we always are.
keep
That was
moving
fine.
around.
Yeah,
Looking
that's
at
true.
screwed up.
Yeah, so we have to kind of keep set. I mean, for the time being, do we split the difference, go to 6:30 and see how that functions for everyone? See what the end times are, see what it looks like through a budget
for that.
season.
Rob said 6:30 would be a good call.
50-50?
Yeah.
Well, we got halfway there.
It's called compromise.
Let's compromise.
I'm okay with either. You want to make a motion?
All
Can
right.
you handle that, Troy? 60.
Troy's not the issue at all. I mean,
I prefer 7:00. So,
You're smart.
I mean, half hour is,
Well, that makes no
what's a half an
difference
hour
where
going to
you
do?
are,
I mean, either
okay?
going to start at 6 or start at 7. I don't know what.
Well, it was a compromise.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I'm
What's the
thinking
half an
about
hour
the
really
people
going to do?
coming
I
home.
heard people can't make it because of work. They can't make it. They got to get home and eat. They got to do this. I don't know if a half an hour is going to do anything. I think it's 6:00 or 7.
Troy, in your experience.
That's, you just made a
most towns-
comment. I gave you my comment back. That's all. I think
In your
you-
experience, Troy, you worked with other towns.
7 p.m.
7:00 is
7 p.m.
It's been a start date.
And I
That's
think,
how I feel about it.
and I think what you're hearing is that during the budget process, we start your meeting at 6 so that you can get the department heads and committees in here from 6 to 7. And then at 7:00, the budget part's done and you can do your business.
I'm okay with that.
7? 7?
I'm fine. Sure.
I'm confused.
Well, I know. As am I, but it's like
I
a
know what
tennis
he's
match.
saying.
But I'm sensitive to your, having to work
Yeah.
and get back in.
I'll be
I
honest with
understand.
you, Brent, since I'm on the outside world now. dealing
you
with
are too.
customers,
Yeah, you're.
That's very sensitive, okay? And I try to work my Monday nights.
Yep.
And what other night for planning board? It's not a problem.
Yep.
7 o'clock. Selectmen's always going to be my problem.
No problem. I understand.
So what do we
Go ahead,
motion?
make it 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
And
7
then,
o'clock.
and then we can adjust it during budget season.
Budget season, we have to work it out.
Because I'm happy with 6:30. Doesn't matter. I know if we got to get Kurt tucked in. He's a big man. He needs sleep. He needs his
Hey,
sleep.
that was, you got a concern about work. He wants to eat dinner. I want to go to bed. What's the big deal? They're all making
about
fun of
me.
me.
No,
Everyone's
no,
got their
it's not.
concerns.
It's not just about me eating dinner. I wanted to make that
Yeah,
clear.
you wanna eat dinner.
Okay?
Yeah, look at this guy. You think he needs dinner?
Profile.
I kind of like 6:30, bud. Yeah, let's do 6:30.
Yeah, I would say 6:30.
Let's do say it's a happy medium between.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we move the meeting start time to 6:30 from henceforth.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry,
Second.
second by Mr. Schaefer. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Reluctantly.
All abstained? Motion carries 500.
6:30 from now on. Has everybody got that?
Set my
6:30.
calendar.
I gotta change all my things in my calendar.
Oh, here we go.
Can John handle that change on the computers?
Next item of business is the mower equipment purchase. Mr. Brown.
All right, so I believe everyone was on the tour of the highway facility last week. You were not. So one of the things that I've been discussing with Kevin Brown is his need for additional equipment for mowing. The mower that we currently have right now, I believe, is 10 or 11 years old. That's really the only equipment we have for mowing all the town facilities. A lot of that mowing is done at on Albuquerque, and we have a Kubota tractor. It's a huge, small, compact, utility type, high-end residential tractor, which really it doesn't serve any purpose for the department as far as mowing. They have a problem with it when it overheats after about working it for about 1 to 1.5 hours. In the wintertime, it had a snowblower attachment, but the department really, it doesn't use it. A lot of times, I think it doesn't blow the snow as well as you would think. So it's usually just sit there and parked outside and not used. Kevin came to me and told me about his concerns that he needed another mower. He would have that as his frontline mower. The one that we have right now would be the backup. And as the board approved the last meeting, hiring summer seasonal help, we get 2 mowers out there going and really get caught up on the roadside mowing and all of our facilities. So we didn't really know what value the Kubota tractor had. We brought it over to Chapel Tractor, and with all the attachments, they quoted us an $8,000 trade-in value, which we $8,000.
Oh my God.
Which we thought that was, a very a good trade-in allowance for a used piece of equipment. So Kevin's been talking to Chapel Tractor, and basically what we decided, we were looking down the road, knowing that we did the MRI study. There's some discussion about the highway department growing over time and taking over a lot more of the facility maintenance of maybe the cemeteries, maybe some of the rec facilities, that whatever purchase we make would fit in nicely. So if we expand one day into those other areas, our equipment would work. In that discussion he had with Chapel Tractor, we were looking at purchasing something right around $15,000 for one mower. But then in some discussions, they were like, well, you could probably get 2 of these mid-grade mowers for the same price. That would give you 2 brand new mowers that are going to be very reliable machines. You keep your third mower as a backup in case one is down, you still got 2 mowers. And as you know, this time of the year, when you're down a mower, the grass can get away from you real quickly. So what we're proposing this evening is authorization to purchase two mowers, authorization to trade the Kubota tractor in to put towards that purchase, And we also want to close out the stimulus fund, which was grant funds remaining, unused funds for the construction of Albuquerque's bike path. So those funds, we have $4,425.99 left in the fund, and we'd like to close that out so that's just written off the books. And that gives us, a balance of about $2,500 that we would actually charge to the operating budget to acquire two brand new mowers. We are also, this estimate's a little bit higher than, because we're still discussing the size of the deck. And we also are looking to get not a full bagger system, but sort of, it's sort of something that would catch the clippings on the chute. So when we're working around our buildings, around the new fire station, around any sensitive landscaping, the bark mulch is down, that we can at least collect the lawn clippings and then dispose of that properly, remove that piece of equipment and do a discharge mow for the rest of the area. So this is going to, if the board actually grants this authority, I believe that we can do this all for $15,000, gross or less. But
Makes sense.
So basically, you're going to hit about $2,200, the budget.
you're probably going to cost you about $2,200, $2,300 to get yourself two new mowers. The mower that we have right now, I believe, is 11 years old.
Yep.
So there's no reason to believe that these two mowers are probably going to last the same amount of time, if not, longer.
And we're looking at trying to get a wide enough deck if we ever go off and start doing fields and
Right.
open space. Any questions?
What's the deck size he's proposing? Because,
Well, the one that we're looking at right now in the quote is a 50-inch deck.
okay, could you get into slopes? Okay, that, I can't get into that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My computer's telling me, go to hell tonight. Okay? But don't you smile down there.
Well, yeah, we're going to mow everything that you see that they're able to do right now. And then, of course, we've got the, whatever you call it, the New Holland tractor with the articulated arm.
Yeah.
That can go a
Separate
couple
issue.
times a year and do some of the slopes on Albuquerque.
That's a big thing, right? So you're talking a 52-inch?
Yes, 52.
Is it 52?
Yeah, 250,
252.
252
52-inch deck. Yeah.
Ferris or Skag.
Okay,
They're Ferris.
Ferris or Skag.
okay. I'm sorry, I can't see it.
No, I thought I said that.
I gotta get close to you. Don't.
One's a 24 horsepower, the other's 22 horsepower.
Is that, Kurt, you have a little experience in those good mowers?
Yeah, both of them are.
I was gonna ask the same question. Thank you.
Yeah, both of them are good commercial mowers.
Okay.
Okay. The Kubota we had didn't handle the snow or the grass too well. Okay.
What do we do as far as the snow goes? If the snow blower is not working, we're gonna trade it in. How are we gonna
Well,
get
we
rid of the
didn't-
sidewalk?
we didn't really.
Never get
No,
used.
The contract.
It was just parked here, and we used to do the sidewalk in front of the police station town office, and we really didn't use it.
Okay.
They stopped doing the snow blowing there because the snow blower could not handle wet snow at all, Bobby.
Okay.
Anything with wet, it just died.
Okay.
I have a question. The fire department has a snow blower. There's sidewalks and there's landscaping we shouldn't be driving over. Are they gonna take care of their own pathways in front?
We're still in discussions right now, with the total maintenance of that facility, snow plowing, cutting the grass, bark mulch, all of that maintenance that goes along with the building. So
It's added cost. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a walk behind that's in good shape. And they're gonna need that for their walkways because you just can't drive a truck on those.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion. I move to authorize the town administrator to take the following actions. Authorize the highway department to purchase two mowers with attachments at an estimated cost not to exceed $15,000. Waive the purchasing policy requirements for purchase said mowers. Trade the Kubota tractor with attachments to Chapel Tractor in the amount of $8,000. Use the balance of the stimulus bike path fund, $4,425.99 plus interest towards the purchase of said mowers, and close the stimulus bike path account.
We have a motion by Mr. Schaefer,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Leary. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? All abstained? Motion carries 5-0-0.
We have tradition in the hall. Pat said no.
Bear with me while I get myself going.
Can't get that to come on at all.
Who said no? Pat said no?
Yes.
She wasn't here when they were complaining about the high grass.
No.
Just send them down to the firehouse and town hall.
Kurt, while I get going again, you want to do the next item, please?
Sure.
What's that?
Road agent, highway manager. Troy? Okay.
Thank you.
What?
All right, so what I was looking for this evening is, as you know, I reached out to Kevin Brown when Mr. Pinciero had resigned and asked Mr. Brown to take charge of the department until we had an opportunity to discuss what our next steps would be. I have now talked to Kevin about agreeing to become the interim road agent, highway manager, and he's agreed to do that. It's common courtesy that you would pay the person that's stepping up into that role the same rate that was currently being paid to that director. So I'd like to have the board appoint Kevin Brown as the interim road agent, highway manager, and adjust his hourly rate from $28.84 to $34.97. Again, this would be an interim action, and until this board decides what permanent solution we're going to do going forward.
I want to offer that Kevin Brown was brought in by our former road agent with outstanding qualifications, both in equipment background. He has a degree in business, but he has a lot of equipment experience. He has the ability to be a mechanic and to run the equipment at the same time. And again, just to emphasize that he was brought in by a previous road agent, so he's a good candidate for the interim position.
Yeah, he's been an incredible asset for the department since he started working for the town back in December. And I do believe that the former road agent's plans were that Kevin was being groomed to step up for this position. So.
Okay, that answers the mystery question then. Because everybody's asked me, how did Kevin get on board? I didn't know that Jack had recommended, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, he was brought in by John.
Okay, was brought in.
He brought him in.
So Kevin
didn't know
had
that.
worked for the town as a contracted plow driver through a different contractor. So he was just an employee of the contractor that had the main contract.
Okay,
So Kevin had plowed for us at least 1 year, if not two, I believe. And then last year, he approached, somehow a conversation occurred between Jack and Kevin, and Kevin was interested in coming on board full time. The timing was perfect. We brought that to this board, and that's how Kevin's with us today.
I wasn't here at the time, but Jack recommended Kevin?
Yes.
Well, who says,
Yes, he did. He brought him in.
he brought him back. I wasn't here, so I don't
As a
know.
plow guy.
And as
As
an
a plow-
hourly
as a
person
plow
after
guy?
he plowed.
No.
okay, before Mr. Chair, before we go on, okay, there's a question that I have, and I'm not disputing Kevin. I want to make this clear. I'm disputing how Kevin came on board. If he came on as a plow guy and Jack had liked him, that's another story. I think we need to, I personally would like to follow up on this a little bit more. I'm not against it, okay? But I want to make sure I get the facts straight and how it all happened. This way there's a cloud that's gone, I don't want any more clouds. It's not about a personality issue. It's about how did he get to where he is. And two, as an intern, you're talking about giving him the same pay as the original one, right, Jack, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I have some reservation there, because remember, he's intern. Okay, and I understand what Kevin's saying, or what you're saying, but you gotta have incentive. If he comes in, exceeds in a certain period of time that we decide to keep him there, or if he goes, I like to work with, if he's an intern or an intern, may not get the whole incentive, but have to work for it. That's my thought. Okay? I'm not against it. I just want to make sure I got the history path.
If this is something that the board's going to discuss, we're at some point here, we're kind of getting into a non-public session.
Yes, we'll have to go non-public
And,
and discuss. when it comes to that.
I felt that this was something that could be discussed and ratified without non-public. I may have miscalculated that. So if we can't make a motion on this and fill this position as I've laid out, we can go in the non-public at the closure.
What is the will of the board?
To Kevin's point, if he has some questions, I think we need to answer the questions for him.
Okay, let's just move this to the next meeting. We'll go non-public.
Well, we can do it this evening.
We can do it this evening, actually. We can
Definitely. I need action.
Yep, we'll do it this evening. We'll have as part of our non-public.
Okay?
Can I ask a question?
No.
Public input's closed. I'm sorry.
You didn't vote on it.
You didn't vote on it.
You know,
It was all the same.
I don't have to vote in closing public input.
He has a couple of chapters in an hour meeting.
The next item of business is the police captain contract renewal notice. Mr. Brown.
Okay, I just wanted, this board's on public record that they are interested in sitting down with our police captain and discussing the opportunity of becoming the next police chief for the town. At the same time, the contract that we have with the police captain requires that if the board is interested in renewing his contract, that notice be given by July 1st, 2019. So I wanted the board to take action so that, one, we notify the police captain that, hey, we're still interested in renewing your contract as police captain. And two, have at the same time, formally notify him that we're interested in talking about police chief. But
His contract's up in December.
December 31st.
Okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. I move to request the town administrator to provide the police captain with a contract of renewal pursuant to section 6.4 of the employment contract between the town of Litchfield and Benjamin Sargent.
We have a motion by Mr. Larry,
Second.
second by Mr. Lemire. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstained? Motion carries 5-0-0. The next item we have is street light request. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, LEDs.
So Lionel Constant, he contacted me and he's concerned. He's a resident down on Carlisle, and he was concerned. One evening he was driving down Albuquerque, making a turn into his street, very dark section there. There were folks that were walking on the sidewalk, and he was very concerned about safety. There was almost an accident that occurred, and so I've not received a request for a street light. So, it's a commitment on the town's part. Every time we add a street light, there's a cost to it. I've not added a street light in many years. And I believe that Eversource is now getting out of the street light business. They'll just provide the power to it, but they don't provide the maintenance to the system. So, whereas in previous years, you would have a contract with Eversource. They would come, install the street light, maintain it, change the light bulbs. But I believe that that's changed. So it may be that we have to install this thing. We pay for the equipment, installation, and maintenance, Eversource just pays, charge for the energy. I could be wrong.
Mr.
Need to
Chairman,
know-
could we,
Go ahead.
could we request just the input of the police chief also? I agree. The more lights to me, the better for safety.
Especially when you get down by Duck Pond. It's really dark right there.
He is right. That's a tough area there. And also, could we get more information about the policy and the procedure from Eversource?
Okay.
And find out what our commitment would be. And could we do that for
Sure.
the next meeting?
And I'm sure we're looking at LED lights. And that'll be a good location to at least see what does it look like as we have to
Right.
systematically go through and start changing things.
Right.
And what quality of light do we get out of the LED?
I'm just the opposite, I think, when it comes to lighting.
Yeah.
I think Bob and I are from the old school,
We
okay?
didn't have any streetlights.
We didn't have any
No,
streetlights.
But boy,
You never had one
now
home.
with people on that bike path,
Well,
they walk at night.
I
on
know
the
they
bike
do.
path, And
And there's a couple real dark intersections.
my wife is from a place, you come home when the streetlights come home. I'm from Litchfield. Streetlights never came on, okay? So we didn't come home. We got yelled at. So
all right.
Safety's first. I guess.
safety's
So we
first, I
can do
know.
that next meeting, Troy?
Troy will do
Sure.
it.
Can we do that?
Yeah, no problem. That's
Okay, thanks, Troy.
Brian, I agree. Let's have the police chief look at the intersection
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah.
Okay, and see if it's something to do with the curve, the brush, or anything else when you make the turn, or the signage is not good
It's
there.
a woody and
See,
swampy there, isn't it?
Apparently,
I never met him.
Lionel,
He turned it.
when they come down and the people are coming down that bike path, apparently the people coming off of Duck Pond and out of Carla, it's very difficult to see the people crossing.
It's right there on that corner and,
Yeah.
and on the dip.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, the next item is the future facility tours. Last Monday, I believe it was, we took a tour of the highway department along with the budget committee. And I thought it was a fantastic tour to have and see what equipment we have. Try to start getting a master plan on where we want to go with equipment. And I thought it was so favorable, I just wanted to ask the board, do you think that we should systematically go department by department and take a tour of it? Like next, we could maybe do the old police station and LCTV. Another time, we can go through and do Talon Hall and just go through it with the budget committee and just see what we're up against, where future needs of the town going to be. Does everyone think there's a benefit to that?
Yes.
I think it's a
It
great.
says we can't add comments.
So if so, we can
Sounds
ask,
like that.
we'll ask Mr. Brown to get with the department heads and see if he could schedule up the next visits.
Yeah, so I would, I would
That's a
reach
great
out to the
idea.
department heads, schedule these things, do it in coordination with the budget committee. I know some of the budget committee members enjoyed. This was a practice.
Yeah, it was. It
I've
was
not done it,
beneficial.
but I know prior years, the budget committee would go and tour all the facilities before they got into the budget season. And it got to the point where, the budget committee had a lot of experience. They had the knowledge, so they didn't need to tour anymore. Now we've had a lot of change.
Yeah, we have a lot of new people. I think everybody thought it was very much eye-opening. It was nice to get it in.
Yeah.
We had the remote camera that Matt brought with us for LCTV, so now we can show it to the citizens, departments they may never see. So I think it's a great educational.
So,
process.
shoot for, July and August, and I think we'll still need to do it on an off night.
Definitely. But at least we'll get to see them all before budget season starts and we can start planning for the future needs.
I'll try not to work a 14-hour day that day.
Just good you got it all done.
I did. And I got paid, which is better.
So the next item is the administrator report. Mr. Brown.
I don't really have anything to report. Working on this, we have the budget committee, which I'm sure, we were talk about, but we have NHMA coming this Thursday night.
Yep.
And they're going to be doing the presentation of going over the roles and responsibilities of the budget committee. So, selectmen all invited to attend. In fact, how many do you think would attend? Because I'll just post an agenda no matter what. I'll post an agenda.
What's
tomorrow.
agenda? I'm looking at going.
Yeah.
Start, what time does it start?
You,
7?
you'll like her presentation.
Well,
She's
She's
fantastic.
excellent.
I met her before. I think
Margaret, yeah, Margaret's gonna do it.
I put Bob through a experience that he did not want to go through because I couldn't go to the planning board. Okay, so I feel bad. I think I need to go to the budget committee.
Yeah.
Okay, because really.
Come during budget season.
Troy, that starts at
He had a
7.
rough night.
7:00. Yeah.
I'll try.
Everything Brent and Troy tells me.
And I will.
it's gonna
Tomorrow
be
I'll
fun.
post an agenda. Not that we're going to conduct any business, but
Just to know what it is.
Just to say that we're going to be there.
that's it.
That's it. Selectmen reports. Mr. Lynch.
I could not go to the planning board meeting last time because of a work commitment I couldn't get out of. So Bob have gone for me and did a fantastic job of listening.
Listening.
Schaefer?
We didn't have a recreation commission meeting 2 weeks ago, but we are having one tomorrow night.
I have nothing to report from conservation. Mr. Lemire?
Yes, I went to the Heritage Commission meeting last time, and we finished all of our bylaws and the updates that were recommended by town council. And they will be coming to the board for final approval, I believe. Or has the board approved pending?
I think,
Or
I
does
don't
the
think
board
it
have
requires
to?
a board approval.
Okay.
It's their own bylaws.
All right, so I just wanted the board to review them anyway to see.
I can bring them back
Be nice
just
to
to
see.
have a review.
So, and
Could you-
Dr. Queenan does a
Right.
beautiful job as our,
If Kim, right?
great.
Yes.
If you could send it to us so we can read it, at least we'll have some kind of a
Sure,
scope.
or yeah.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Maybe I can get this thing to work.
Yeah.
Mr.
My
Leary?
I
Budget
don't-
committee hasn't met in a while. We're meeting Thursday. We have the training session, and I did sit in for Mr. Lynch at the planning board, and there was just a couple of items about a storage facility on the south end of town. And they moved that to later meeting to have them get a couple of things in order. And
There's a walkthrough coming up.
there's a walkthrough coming up. Yep. 2 weeks, I think. 2 weeks on Saturday morning.
Enjoy. I've been here enough time.
Other than that,
Since we have no items removed from consent, we have no other business. Our next regular meeting will be July 8th, 2019. The board does have 2 other items. They're non-public sessions. One is RSA 91A,
Excuse me.
:3.
Before you get into that July 8th, I have to have this ask permission to not be here. It's a very important day in my life.
Let me guess, it's your anniversary.
You don't have to tell us, that's your business.
That's right, it's your business, but it's
It
very
was the
important.
year that I was born,
you can wait till non-public session.
so I have to say it now. Please strike that. Okay. No, but I just, I will not be around. Okay. We had planned for something a long time ago and before I even became elected. And it comes out that, and it just seemed, when I saw the date, I went, oh no. So forgive me for not being
That
here.
is quite all right.
Thank you.
Okay, we do have 2 non-public sessions. One is RSA 91A: 3, 2B, the hiring of any person as a public employee. And RSA 91A3: A3 2A, the compensation of any employee.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we go into non-public session under the RSA's so designated.
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Lemire, second by Mr. Schaefer.
You have to do a roll.
Roll call.
Hi.
Lynch. Mr. Schaefer?
Yeah.
I
Here.
say yes. Mr. Lemire?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Leary? We are now in non-public. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody attending.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.